So, all right,
I think
we're ready to rock. Are we ready to rock?
Yeah, let's go. Fuck it.
You can find us at BWSSpodcast.com and on Facebook at BWSS Podcast. This is because we said so. Let's start the show. And now, recording from beautiful and sexy Miami, with your hosts, Seth and Laz and Research Lucas. It's because we said so.
All right, well, with that, here we are. So, this is Seth. This is because we said so. We got Seth and Mike 1. We got Laz and Mike 2.
Yo.
Got the bag put away. Look at that. We got Lucas and Mike 3.
The bag's never there.
And we got Alex and Mike 4 sporting the new background. Yeah, putting in just trying to mix it up a little, make it a little bit more unique. So for those of you listening, we record everything on video, put up all our YouTube videos. Everything is on YouTube, including our deleted scenes. We're going to be trying something new. So those of you listening and watching, you'll notice that the show is going to be a lot shorter. So instead of having these long hour-and-a-half shows, we're going to cut them up into, we're going to record 2 different shows each week. And we're basically going to record them the same day. And then we're going to release them separately. And the reason why is because hour and a half is a lot. The first episode is going to be the more newsy stuff, quick news. We're going to have the more, salacious or important or worldly known stories and stuff like that. And the second episode is going to be the weather, I got beef, am I an asshole? And then the list that we do, we did most treacherous journeys and haunted paintings. That's where we're going to have that. So you'll have one. The first one comes out. It's going to be more newsy. And the second one's going to be more pop culture-y, current events-y, ZZZ, stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. So that being said, topics for today for this episode, we're going to be doing Biden's cabinet picks so far. So he's got some out there. There's still a couple that haven't been figured out, including, Attorney General? One of them hasn't been picked up yet. So India is expanding its Wi-Fi. So they are basically going to be making these Wi-Fi hotspots. Love Jihad, also coming from India. This is kind of interesting. I stumbled upon this. And Texas GOP. So it's talking about secession and wanting to separate from the country. Imagine that. You can get us at our website at BWSS Podcast. Twitter and Facebook is BWSS Podcast. Instagram is BWSS Cast. That's where we spend most of our energy. Twitter just sucks. In fact, we actually lost a subscriber. So I never go on it. We've been putting stuff on it. Nobody gives a shit. I don't give a shit. It shows. So, and then before we go into stock updates, any thoughts out there? Any comments? Lucas, I like the icicle. Did you take that picture today?
No, I actually took that several years ago.
Looks like somebody's laundry cord or whatever. What is it? Where'd you get it?
That several years ago.
Okay, nice. I thought you were gonna put up your your gear, and I had maybe. Oh, you know what? Second episode, bro. That's pretty cool. That'll work.
Yeah.
So I thought, like, well, what do we change clothes and all? I was like, forget it. We record them in the same day. What are you gonna do? All right, quick stock update for those of you following along. And by the way, I'm up 160% for the year. I'll post it up so you guys can see it. It's a Robinhood account. I had some money saved up, and when shit hit the fan last, March, I was ready to go. And what's cool about Robinhood, it enables me to make these trades without it costing anything. So if you sell something or buy something in the same day, it doesn't cost anything. But recently, actually today, I got hit up because I bought and sold something the same day, and it was space. I figured, space I sold. The flight that was supposed to go down never actually went down. They flew up there, went to fire the rockets. The rockets didn't go off. Fail-safe hit. It glided back to Earth safely. So first thing on Monday morning, I sold it at about down about 12%, which still put me up about 10% from where I bought it. And then, so I figured today it might be done dropping. So I bought it and realized it's not done dropping. Sold it right away. But anyway, sold space.
What you're talking about that you're doing all day?
Well, it's part of, when I get up in the morning, it's the first thing I do, especially when I get with Alicia. So luckily I get up with her on Mondays often. So first thing Monday morning, she gets up around 8:39, markets open at 9:30. So I'm kind of ready to go with the moves I want to make or not make. So, but yeah, if we're talking about what I do all day. So, but yeah,
After that hour.
so that's about an hour, and that's usually with Alicia. So, but anyway, so here's the thing: short sellers, are coming in, and there are people talking about how Tesla's going to go down to $90, and that's what it's worth. And there's been a lot of talk about this, and recently, some of the information coming out of China is that the batteries are getting half of the distance in the cold weather when it's really, really cold, which which is understandable because it's a solution oftentimes within there or some type of something that where electrons are freely flowing and stuff like that. And if that starts to seize up or freeze up, it does make it more difficult. So anyway, long story short, sold my Tesla. I got 50% off of it. And then sold my space, like I said, bought in, sold it right away. It dropped about 7% today. Tesla actually didn't move, and I sold SBE, Switchback Energy. That was the one that I told you was up 50% just last week. It's been dropping. I sold it at about a 20% gain. I could have gotten 50, but whatever, I waited. And then I bought Watt, which is a radio frequency charging technology, brand new. That's the one I'd spoken about before. I bought it for like 80 cents back in March or February, and it jumped up to like 320 when I sold it. So I bought back into that today. And it was like $1.77 or something. It's up 3% today. And I bought back in with NEO. NEO had been going down. And because the other companies out there in the EV market aren't doing so well, it seems to be doing a little bit better. So that's kind of where we are with that. So there you go. I don't know why I have to give myself an applause, but otherwise it's just fucking crickets around here.
It's a lot of intel.
Yeah, it is. It is. So
That's fire though. Most of it is positive, correct?
most of it's a positive. Like I'm doing okay. The problem is when a company's doing really well, what is eventually if it's a big company, they're going to say some short seller, which is a person who literally makes money expecting a stock to go down, will say, hey, this stock is going to go down, and it fucking goes down. And it's annoying just because they said that, because that's what they fucking do. Like, oh my God, blah, 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 said it's going to go down. So everyone sells because he said it's going to go down. And they fucking make the money on that. And dude, it's so, and that's happened with Tesla. It happened with Nikola. Dude, Nikola, bro, that was the one. It was an EV company, American company. They had the Badger truck that was supposed to run, actually not EV, it was supposed to run on hydrogen fuel cells. GM said, we're going to invest. They were going to invest like billions of dollars for a percentage stake. This guy comes in and writes this salacious, oh, the technology isn't where it is. There's been a lot of lying, this and that. Bro, that was about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago. Since then, GM's pulled out. The stock was at like 40 some dollars. It was down to like $15, $12. It's inching its way back up. But just because these people, and that's the problem when these stocks go up really, really fast, eventually someone's going to hit it.
Is that the one that they brought to like the show and it didn't work out or something? That's the one?
Well, no. I mean, Tesla had the truck where it was through this like big heavy cylinder at the window that's supposed to be indestructible, and the window fucking shattered.
Oh, no, so, but the one that GM was backing had like,
well, that's Nikola, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've tested any technology that they would consider.
They tried to I guess market it before it was actually out. And then they had I think even Budweiser had put in a bid to buy like a whole bunch of trucks for their fleet. And it just wasn't what it was supposed to be. Sure. But GM didn't put their name on it directly. They kind of own it, and they were selling their batteries or their technology to them.
Well, they said they're still going to sell their cell technology, their hydrogen cell technology to Badger, to Nikola for the Badger truck. So, I mean, it sounds a lot like, you're talking about the same exact thing.
Yeah.
So it's hydrogen cells, basically using hydrogen to create energy, and the only thing that comes out is fucking water. Like, it's like the most perfect. I mean, obviously, once that comes out, there'll be something more perfect. But it's just like the only waste is water. Like, it's amazing.
It sounds
but the
fire,
problem is,
but they have to make it work.
Hydrogen is really freaking flammable. Wasn't that the Hindenburg? That was hydrogen, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So you just got to be really, 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 really careful. That's all. All right. So that's what's up with stocks. Any questions before we move on? No.
But speaking of electronic vehicles,
sure.
In 2023,
electric vehicles, not electronic. That's okay.
Electric, but they're thinking They're going to add electric motors to the Corvette.
Oh, are they really? I mean,
the
I know like Porsche's done it, Ferrari's done it. There's an EV Formula One out there.
Like
it doesn't
no
seem
fuel?
like it would be. No,
All electric.
It's not. No,
It was in
only
Miami.
to the front wheels to give it a 4-wheel drive.
Oh, so it's going to be rear wheel drive in the back and electric in the front?
Yeah.
That's interesting. So how, I mean,
It's
that's
just for- it's
really
just
interesting
for,
thought, but the technology to time it so both tires are going the
still-
same
More for
speed or
handling,
whatever.
probably.
They still
right?
have two years because they're thinking it might be 2023 before the C8 Stingray comes out with
That's
this.
interesting. Here's the thing. The cool thing about having electric up front is, getting your power from the front is where you really, really are able to like turn corners and stuff like that. Oh my God, Lucas, you just can't wait.
No.
Got to put your finger up.
Actually,
Where's
the
your sign, by the way? Fucking A.
What, this finger?
No, wrong sign, dickhead. Stupid
I can't see it, but
face.
I know what it is.
No, actually, the Corvette has it's not front engine; it's mid-engine.
It's mid-engine now.
Engine's in the back.
Yeah, but the back wheels turn. Did I say rear engine?
You said the rear-wheel drive will be in the back.
No, he said that.
Well, what I
Sorry.
meant to say was engine driven in the back. I mean,
Yeah.
rear wheel drive in the back. Was that like a double positive or oxymoron? No, what would that be?
But the electric motors in the front are not going to be like to propel the car. They're probably going to be. For
Well,
like,
yeah, they're going to be there to
handling.
propel the car and to give it handling. If you want 4-wheel drive, boom, turn on the front wheels. Boop, little switch.
They call
like
their
Knight Rider pursuit
$750,000.
mode. What's that?
Apparently there is electric Corvette, but it's $750,000.
Anyway, all right, we got to move on. Fucking A.
It's time for quick news.
All right, everyone's favorite segment, quick news, Tech Crunch. This is from India. Cabinet approves setting up a massive network of public Wi-Fi hotspots. More than 1 billion people in India today have mobile connection, thanks in part to the proliferation of low-cost Android smartphones and the world's cheapest mobile data plans in recent years. The scale was unimaginable just 3 decades ago when India had fewer than 2.5 million telephones in the country. One of the earliest and most pivotal efforts and expanded the reach of telephones in the country took place in the late 1980s. That was when the Indian government backed the idea of setting up telephone booths or public call offices across cities and towns. No longer do people need to buy expensive telephones or pay exorbitant fees and bills. A person could just walk to a nearby mom and pop store, place a call for a couple cents, and move on. On Wednesday, India's cabinet approved a proposal that seeks to replicate the decades-old strategy and its success with democratizing Wi-Fi in the world's second largest internet market. India's IT Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad said that the government will launch PM WANI, that's Prime Minister Wi-Fi Access Network Interface, WANI, to unleash a massive network in the country. The neighborhood stores that served as public call offices could now be public data offices, he said. To make the program a success, the government will not charge any licensing or registration fees. Hundreds of millions of people came online in India for the first time in the last decade, but just as many are still unconnected. The new program from the Indian government, in part, aims to bridge this gap. So that's freaking awesome, man. That they're gonna do
Should
that.
have already been like that forever.
Well, we don't have that here, though.
But we should.
We
though.
should. We don't even fucking have
the
that
prices
here.
that we're paying for internet and phones.
I mean, you could go to like Starbucks, they have it and stuff like that. But
right now, as far as how technology has progressed,
wasn't there a Wi-Fi? Lucas, can you see if any cities have public Wi-Fi? I feel like Philadelphia has one.
some cities have it. I think Miami Beach has it.
Almost
Okay.
all
Some
the cities
places.
I visit overseas have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is like, remember, like 10, 15 years ago, you're paying per minute to use your phone during
Sure.
the day.
Oh,
like
dude.
now it's unlimited.
you can't-
I feel like the phone companies are still gonna charge us a whole bunch of money for everything
Sure.
just because they can.
Yep.
But like, how is it not cheaper by now? It should be going down instead of going up, and I feel like prices are kind of going up.
Well, what's happening is they're charging you for going over. Like here, where
No, now
my
we're-
internet here, I get 100 gigabytes a month, and then if I go over that, it's like $5
or
for
like
10
for the personal
gigabytes.
home internet.
Yeah.
But like, But now, instead of them giving us our bills cheap, like for my phone and my tablet and all my stuff is unlimited.
Sure.
At home,
Yeah,
I think I'm
of
at
course.
like 50 to 100. I don't know, but I don't use that much internet. I know you have to use way more than I have to.
Sure.
But like,
I use a ton, of course.
yeah. So it doesn't make any sense. Like, what the hell's the problem? like, you know what I mean?
It's pretty cool they're doing that, though.
They have Miami Beach has it for sure.
All right, Alex, WikiLeaks, what you got? And you sent this in, and I was like, dude, we don't know how much of this is real or not. I'm sure a lot of it is, but also the show is already freaking finished. But go ahead, man, rock it out.
Yeah, they WikiLeaks just dumped all their files online. Everything from Hillary's emails, Vegas shootings done by the FBI sniper, Steve Jobs' HIV letter, Pedo Podesta CIA agents arrested for rape, who planned pandemic, and more. So that just dropped, I believe, this morning. So either it's someone from the Trump squad kicking up dust, or
That's the thing. We don't. It's tough, man. Everybody said that the Vegas shooter was the FBI. Like, come on.
it's probably fucking retired dude or something, you know?
I mean,
connections.
he was definitely connected in some way to get all those guns, all that ammunition, have the skill to do
You
it.
talking about
all
the one,
that.
the concert thing?
Yeah.
man.
The country
But
is
it's-
country, right?
It says nothing about these Dominion servers, which puts more truth to it because
I'm gonna, you know
it doesn't
what?
have nothing
We're gonna have to
recent.
do Dominion servers because you bring it up a couple times, and I have no. I mean, I've heard it, but I really haven't looked into it.
I have no idea what that is.
It's just where like information is being stored, and and apparently where some of the lies could be, and especially stuff about like the election, and I don't know if that's where votes were stored or counted or some shit. Who knows? But that's it. Did you look through the files at all?
No, I didn't. I just looked through the entire list.
Yeah.
But
I
that was
opened up
today,
a
though.
couple of them just to see if they were legit, and they were legit. But
Sure.
I didn't look at anything I wanted to.
I
was
mean, just
testing
released
stuff.
so basically Donald Trump was like, all right, bitches, this was today, right? Because today is when Mitch McConnell thanked Biden. Trump was like, all right, boom, just let it go. I'm going out with a boom. So
Expected him to do it sooner, though.
yeah, well, now that he knows there's no way he's getting in. It's interesting too, because there's some Republican bullshit in along the lines with this, that like legitimately is fucking. It's just amazing what some of these Republicans are fucking doing.
This is what we were talking about.
And I'm going to go into the next one right now.
Are you gonna do it right now? What are you saying?
Well, here we go. Business Insider, Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger on Friday criticized the Texas GOP for floating the idea of secession after the Supreme Court rejected a bid to overturn the results of the presidential election. In a statement, the Republican Party of Texas decried the court's decision, with Chairman Allen West suggesting that law-abiding states should bond together and form a union of states that will abide by the Constitution.
Texas is always part of something like that,
Well,
isn't
I mean,
it?
what the fuck, man, Texas? Jesus Christ. And it's not the Texas people. It's, it's a lot of them, and same here in Florida and same in California. It's a lot of Democrats, but, it's the politicians that let this shit go on. Kinzinger, who represents Illinois' 16th district, said in a tweet to the Texas GOP, should immediately retract this, apologize, and fire Allen West and anyone else associated with this. My guy, Abraham Lincoln, and the Union soldiers already told you no, he said.
That's all I was about to say.
Boom.
Got him.
You want to go
God.
back a couple hundred years right now? Like,
He's
is
like,
it already?
bitch, you already tried to secede. We already
What
said
the
no,
fuck,
bitch.
bro? But
Dude.
this, like, I was talking to Alex outside just now, and he's like, "Yo, Biden won, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." The problem is, this is the first election that we just don't accept the winner in November.
Sure.
All the stuff going around, counting like the electoral votes and making sure everything's there. All the votes get counted regardless.
Yep.
So just in case there's a mistake, every election, all the time. But most of the time, November, everybody knows who's gonna win. Nobody cares about the bullshit and the extra counts and the validations, even though it has to get validated anyways.
Sure.
It's the first time we've actually had to see it on mainstream media all the time.
Yeah.
And why the fuck we're talking about it? Because we would never be talking about this at that time. I think the last election when we had the show last Well, before.
Yeah, it was when he got elected is when we did it, when we first started the show.
Yeah, and then once he got elected, we never talked about election anymore.
No.
Like, that was it.
That was well, we started talking about Trump, but that was it for election, sure.
Yeah, that's it.
Because the loser went out with grace. That doesn't seem to happen.
That's how it's supposed to go.
Yeah,
Like,
he's still fucking kicking and fighting and tantruming and shit.
dumb orange fuck.
Brought by by Texas and joined by the Republican-led states, the lawsuit the Supreme Court rejected was the latest attempt by Trump allies to subvert the result of the election. The effort was seen as legally dubious attempt to have judges interfere with the democratic process. So basically, they're like, let's just launch these lawsuits, and they'll hook us up. The courts will do something about it. So that's what Trump was thinking, especially when he put Amy Coney Barrett in. But the Supreme Court's like, listen, we're not even going to listen to this shit. Next. All right, Laz, what you said you had something?
Yeah, I found it.
Oh, you did find it. Nice.
Yeah. It was completely on a different station that different news channel that I usually
Different station.
Yeah, and
Stations on your phone?
I'm still old, bro.
Nice.
Fuck that. 7,000 pending eviction cases filed in Miami-Dade and Broward counties.
Damn.
So I guess they had the what is it called? When they had for the evictions, they weren't gonna evict anybody until
they basically made it illegal to evict people for 3 months, and then I think
they extended it to
Yeah.
January 1st. So now they have 7,000 cases pending.
And this is
That's all
Miami-Dade.
Miami-Dade and Broward.
Damn.
They said 7,000 Miami-Dade and Broward, but most of it is in Dade. They just put Miami-Dade and Broward because the news is for both of those.
Sure.
This is from ABC.
I'm sure it's
WPLG.
it's happening all over the country.
Yeah. So what they're saying, they had people on the news going to the courthouse already, and a lot of people are going to be homeless, obviously, because they haven't been able to pay their rent. I know some people are probably taking advantage of the situation, but most people, a lot of people of them are not. There's some cities that have helped, like Hollywood gives. They've given, I think, $100 million or something like that to their residents to pay like light bills, pay their rent, stuff like that, for Hollywood, Florida. But then there's a lot of people that can't, and they're worried about the cities becoming tent cities again.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that with Alex like just not too long ago, that a lot of places there's a lot of places in LA has a lot of tent cities in random places. Like you could be outside your apartment complex, and next to where you park your car downstairs, there could be somebody living in a tent there. And they said that's probably going to be what the result of all of this, because everybody's going to be kicked out of their homes, which makes sense because people who own the apartments and properties need to make their money as a business, and they can't pay their mortgages as well either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's going to suck for the next couple of months for some people. But
So I wonder, I mean, thing is, the people that haven't been paying, there have been people that haven't been paying their rent since like April, May. And they're not going to be able to just make that up. It's not like,
you can't. It's impossible. Like, that's why, obviously, my job was directly industry related.
Sure.
I was not going to say I'm not going to pay my car. Like, even my insurance company was like, yeah, you don't have to pay your insurance. I paid it. I just kept paying all my bills normally.
Sure.
I didn't want to have to, I'm broke as fuck right now.
Yeah.
Not crazy broke, but broke, Not what I'm used to. So it's just what are you going to do? Not pay anything and then have to have a lump sum due at the end of the year?
Sure.
People with mortgages, mortgage companies, just whatever you can't pay right now, they'll just add it to the end of your mortgage. So
and that's exactly what they should do.
Which that will be fine. But
the
how
only
do you do that
difference
with an
is
apartment
what a lot of people don't think about, though, is when you do that, if you're in the beginning of a car payment and in the beginning of a mortgage, they're going to add it to the end, which is another month of interest, which oftentimes means that you're, depending on where you are, you could be paying a whole extra month on top of that just because of the interest, depending on where you are.
If it's not if it's fixed or not fixed or something like that.
Yeah, it's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah, it's a lot of things that goes into it. But that's different from where you haven't been paying for 8 months and then it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, exactly.
You owe me, if you
Doesn't
let's say
work
your
like that
rent's
with
$1,000, you owe me $8,000 right now. You should have just been paying your $1,000. And the unemployment wasn't that bad for the first 4 or 5 months. They were paying people a decent amount of money a week, which
went away.
Which went away. But in the beginning, you were good. It wasn't that bad, and you were just home. I don't know.
Now
I went
tough.
to work, so I don't know. For me,
what were you saying, Alex?
Think about those people in New York. They're in the same boat,
No, especially in New York.
but weather is a lot different over there.
Yeah.
Are they gonna? But
They don't have a beach that they pitch a tent at and have a beautiful view every morning.
True.
are they kicking them out over there as well now?
Everywhere.
Hey, everywhere.
It's a
3 months.
federal
Oh,
law.
it's a federal thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a state thing.
No, it's a federal thing.
Yeah. So
That's over.
That's
so,
gonna suck. So
and
the whole
it's the end
country's
of this
gonna-
year when it's up.
yeah, they said the end of the year. I mean, for as far as the county, I'm not sure. I didn't look up the state stuff.
I got you. All right, so here we go. Love Jihad. So this is interesting shit. BBC, Love Jihad, the Indian law threatening interfaith love every year. Some 1,000 interfaith couples get in touch with a Delhi-based support group and seek help. Hindu and Muslim couples usually approach Dhanak, Dhanak, with their families when their families deny them permission to marry. Ages between 20 and 30 years. The harried men and women want the group to talk to their families or help them seek legal assistance. Among the companies who come to Dhanak, 52% are Hindu women planning to marry Muslim men. 42% are Muslim women planning to marry Hindu men. Both Hindu and Muslim families in India fiercely oppose interfaith marriages, said Asif Iqbal, founder of Dhanak. They will stoop to any level to stop them. Parents even smear the reputation of their own daughters to dissuade their lover's family. So the so-called love jihad is another weapon to discourage such relationships. The bogey of love jihad, a term radical Hindu groups use to accuse Muslim men of converting Hindu women by marriage, has returned to haunt India's interfaith relationships. Last week, police in northern Uttar Pradesh state held a Muslim man for allegedly trying to convert a Hindu woman to Islam. He was the first to be arrested under the new anti-conversion law that targets love jihad. So literally just say, hey man, why don't you come to Jesus? Boom, go to jail. Like, could you imagine? That's some fucked up shit.
Divide and conquer.
This
Yeah.
week, I read some shit about like sex laws that they still have here.
Oh, there's some weird ones.
There's a lot of weird ones, and I
They'll
don't
never
know.
prosecute for them though.
Yeah, that's just like, obviously it's like the times have changed, but like
Sure.
I'm just looking at, it, I'm like
Like
what the
no
fuck?
anal sex,
Yeah.
right?
No fellatio.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just like, yo, what the hell?
For sure. It's
But-
pretty funny.
It's funny that they still have rules and laws like that in some of the
Well, I
countries.
mean, they just got rid of, what was it? They just got rid of one saying that you can enslave somebody as like a punishment in Mississippi or some shit like that. I can't remember what state it was, but we just talked about it. They're like, we got to get that out of the
No,
out
but
of the
some
laws.
of the like punishment for the crimes, like just random normal sex crimes, I'm pretty
Sure.
sure all of us do all the time. Like 5 years in prison.
Sure.
like
No doubt.
like forfeit your property. You can't like it's so fucking retarded.
So this is the law that it just went into play November 27th, 2020. No person shall convert or attempt to convert either directly or otherwise any person from one religion to another by use or practice of misrepresentation, force, undue influence, coercion, allurement, or by any fraudulent means or by marriage. So
the person just has to want to do it themselves, basically.
you just can't talk to anybody about switching over is basically what they're saying. And all the Jewish people, we got to convert to our religion or Islam or whatever. A lot of people was like, whatever, I'll convert. What's the difference? But there it's completely illegal, man. Provided that if any person reconverts to his or her immediate previous religion, the same shall not be deemed to be a conversion under this ordinance. So in other words, if you convert back, then the person's not going to go to jail. So what is it? Monogamous, arranged, heterosexual, same community marriages are idealized. More than 90% of all marriages in India are arranganged. So fucking A, man. That's some crazy shit. They can just lock you up for.
You can't even get married anyways because both of those religions.
Well, they're arranged, yeah. But more and more nowadays, people are like, "Listen, I'm my own woman. I'm my own man." I mean, they still talk about how it's like, you hate to say it, but sell your daughter off or marry your daughter off for a big dowry or a bunch of cows or property or whatever. It's fucked up.
It's crazy.
All right. So, any shout outs over there by anyone? Laz, shout outs?
I haven't had time to see anybody or do anything this past week.
I know, Lucas, you don't have any shout outs. And Alex, you said you had a shout out, right?
Yeah, to my 6-month-old puppy, yo.
Shaolin, your little puppy dog, right?
Yeah, man, I brought her to New York. She got to see some flurries. She met a whole bunch of other dogs that were bullying her around.
Oh, yeah.
She learned how to fight back.
That's awesome. Such a cute little puppy dog.
And it's like she grew up overnight because I got this new puppy and she like teaching her everything.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's good to like have an older dog because they will teach the younger dog. Like it 100%. So, all right, well, rock on. We're going to take our first little break and then we're going to come back with Biden's picks. Dude.
Don't try it. There's nothing to gain. Don't try it. Three words, don't try it. We run this game. 3 words, don't try it. It's the return of the MC Cream. Go team! For your listening pleasure, you can listen at your leisure. Hold up, go get a sweater. Now isn't that better? Cause this Chilly Willy verse will have you leaving in a hearse. I'm a fumble manipulator. Fuck the instigators. I speak anti-hater. See you later, you unfader. Nomenclature incubator. Warming up this track in my head. Stream of conscious kinda feels like a lyrical lead. Hold up, wait a minute. I'm not done yet. Cause this beat has got me steady grooving. You too, bet? I'll let you take a couple minutes, to jam out to yourself. 1, 2, it's good for your health. People want to step, but they don't know where to tread. Like someone has a dirty secret filling them with dread. They catch my flow, it's over, yeah, pretty much it. Cause the secret will be out, you can't rap for shit. Don't try it. It isn't that hard to tell.
Dude, I'm digging that background, dude. That background is awesome. With the little light back there and shit. Worked out so perfectly. I'm glad you told me to lift it up.
We would have missed all of them.
Right? In fact, people have been like, what is that? All right. So, Laz, Lucas, you got your face all set up. Good job. Yep. Still kind of white, but it's better than blue, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I'm going to get lost tomorrow.
Yeah, probably. That's all right. Yeah, right, with all the snow.
Yeah,
all right, so we're gonna jump into Biden's picks. So far, we don't go through all of them. Obviously, there are hundreds out there, and Biden doesn't pick all of them. But we're gonna go through the major ones that have been, been selected so far. And I'm gonna start with the press secretary, Jen Psaki. And the reason why I'm starting with her is just, it's always interesting because they're the person that's going to be doing all of the talking for the president, and it's always entertaining. Let's face it, their job is to not answer the questions that she's not supposed to answer, but still have a way to answer the question, or he. And I got this from Bill. What's that?
They're like, by the way,
Yeah. Well, it's the thing, there have been, I think Trump had like 5 or 6 of them. Lucas, can you look up how many freaking press secretaries Trump had? Pretty sure it was at least 5.
Right now he has a chick, right?
Yeah, she's been on for a while though.
Yo, she's on point though.
She is on point. She's really good. I hate to give her credit, but she's
doing her fucking job.
She's doing her job. She's doing it well. But that's the thing. She's doing it well, and most people that are press secretaries are pretty decent. When you're a press secretary for Trump, it's hard because you got to be the most amazing bullshitter on the planet. Only 3 for Trump? Really? Find it hard to believe.
4.
All right. So anyway,
does he have the record for fired cabinet members?
He has to. He has to.
By far.
Barr stepping down, because he wouldn't freaking, whatever. All right, buildbackbetter.com. During the Obama-Biden administration, Psaki held several major roles, including White House Communications Director, State Department spokesperson under then Secretary of State John Kerry, Deputy White House Communications Director, and Deputy White House Press Secretary during the financial crisis. And Deputy is essentially the second in command. She's a veteran of 3 presidential campaigns, having served and traveled as a traveled press secretary during the Obama-Biden campaign in 2008, as a traveling press secretary and senior advisor in 2012, and as a deputy press secretary for John Kerry campaign in 2004. Psaki was a spokesperson for the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee in 2006 when the Democrats won the House. This is why this one's interesting. So Russia state media is renewing its disdain for President-elect Joe Biden's new White House press secretary, Jennifer Psaki. While serving as a spokeswoman for the Obama White House and State Department between 2014 and 16, Psaki heavily criticized Russia's conduct in Ukraine and Syria. She also made a series of minor but embarrassing slip-ups and misnomers at the time, prompting Russia media to scrutinize and mock her heavily. One major broadcaster launched a comedy show called Psaki at Night, and a famous news presenter coined the term "socking" to mean ignorance. Last week, a Russian politician said it was alarming that Biden would hire Psaki. A prominent state TV host called her a professional woman with a sense of humor who, however, did not always understand that she was joking. So that's pretty much it. We'll see how she goes. I mean, she was pretty good back then. I do remember seeing her, stuff like that. All right, so lads, you got Janet Yellen.
Janet Yellen.
Secretary of the Treasury.
Secretary of the Treasury. She's been in the White House or helping with government stuff for a bit. She's been chair of the Federal Reserve. She's been Federal Reserve Board of Governors. She worked with Clinton. She's been Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of San Francisco. So, as Secretary of Treasury, I feel like it's a good decision based on her experience.
First woman to do it.
First woman to do it.
Well, she's got to get. They all got to get confirmed first.
She was supposed to do something with Trump, but he denied her.
I'm sure.
Of course. She was one of
I'm
the
pretty sure
15th
anyone who is now nominated under Biden would be denied by Trump.
Yeah, so she was denied by Trump. She was the 15th chair of the Federal Reserve. She got denied. She's 74 years old, a labor economist.
Yep. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Biden is not playing. He's diversifying the shit
I like
out of his cabinet.
There's way more women than with political things now.
Sure, 100%. Yeah. So Miss Yellen has recently recovered, and said recently the recovery will be uneven and lackluster if Congress doesn't spend more to fight unemployment and keep small businesses afloat. There's a huge amount of suffering out there. The economy needs the spending, Miss Yellen said in a September 28 interview. So we're rooting for her. We'll hope she gets in. It'd be nice. I mean, I don't see how they can deny her. Her other appointments, were an issue for her to get in. So, all right, Lucas, Secretary of Defense, retired General Lloyd Austin.
What I found on him, obviously, was his military career, which actually spanned for 41 years total, starting in 1975.
So I put the list up, and I was like, I list all the names, and like this one's retired General Lloyd Austin. And Lucas, like, first one's like, I'll take the retired general. It's mine. All right, go ahead.
But he pretty much led he's a West Point graduate, and since then he's been nothing but supply and training.
Okay.
So he knows his way around the bureaucracy of it.
Sure.
Multiple.
Helps if you talk into the microphone, Lucas.
Trying to find where
you can move the mic if you need to. It's okay. Look at that, huh? Yeah. He's like, so.
Well, you told me not to lean into it.
Sure.
But from what I've read, this guy's heavily
decorated.
Not any a lot of distinguished service awards and that kind of stuff.
40-year career.
Yep. The one that I actually found interesting, Ranger and Master Parachutist.
Oh, that's cool. I know he was a Ranger, which is cool. Yeah. Master Parachutist is awesome.
You have to complete 65 jumps and 25 jumps under full combat load.
That's cool.
Oh, cool.
That's cool. So here's the thing. So he has to get a special waiver from Congress because defense secretaries need to be out of uniform for 7 years, traditionally. So he can get a waiver for it, but Congress has to give it to him.
No, they gave it to Mattis.
Sure.
What do you mean? Like he had to be?
He had to be out of the service for 7 years. Yeah, out of the military.
What's up with the full combat load? What's the weight on that?
I'm guessing 120 pounds would be my guess.
Yeah, 80 to 120 pounds.
So, and also if he gets in, he'll be the first black person to hold the Secretary of Defense, which would be really awesome as well.
And no, on top of that, he was actually the first black person to be the the commander of the United States Central Command.
Sure. Yeah, he's been breaking all kinds of barriers. So
what do you think the 7
Is
years...
he American or is he?
He's American. Yeah, for sure.
American. What do you think the 7 years is about? Just a conflict to make sure?
Conflict of interest, and that's exactly, I'll tell you right now. Austin is also on the board of Nucor, America's largest steel producer. The company provides steel to at least 2 defense contractors, Oshkosh Defense and Huntington Ingalls Industries, according to Politico. Austin is notorious for avoiding public and press engagements despite being in charge of some of America's most high-profile military operations while at CENTCOM. And he's also on the board of Raytheon Technologies since shortly after he retired in 2016. He's also a partner at Pine Island Capital Partners, an investment firm that has been buying up small defense contractors. So I think it is a conflict of interest thing because he's on the board of all these like defense-related companies. And if you're, it's kind of, it's a stretch, but it's kind of like, the Mexican Godfather, Cienfuegos, like he's, on the board essentially with these drug cartels and he's the Secretary of Defense. It's a little bit of a stretch, but it's similar type of situation there. So
Makes sense.
yeah, exactly. So, all right. So Alex, Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken.
All right, Mr. Blinken. Not to be confused with Lincoln.
Sure.
All right. He worked with Biden before under Obama. He's 58 years old, extensive foreign policy experience. So he was Secretary of State, serving as deputy and national security advisor with Obama. He graduated Harvard and Columbia, and he started under Clinton.
Okay.
So he's been in there for a minute.
20 years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So he had
he's been with Biden for 20 years, actually.
Yeah. Well, he's been in that spot for a good amount of time. So a couple other people that he beat out that I want to mention is Susan Rice.
Yeah.
You know about that one?
People, Republicans hate her. People don't like her.
Yeah, but Chris Coons was another one.
Okay.
But the reason why they weren't chosen was because then they would have a fight for the Senate seat.
Sure.
He said, let's go with the easy pick.
Yep. That's the
all.
thing. We don't know what's going to happen in January, so they're not sure. Obviously, the Democrats win the 2 seats in January. Good to go. They can get in whoever they want, but we're just not there yet. So that's pretty cool, man. And by the way, actually, let's see. Here's it. Blinken helped develop the American response to political upheaval and instability across the Middle East with mixed results in Egypt, Iraq, Syria, and Libya. But here's the thing: his newest, his main priority is to reestablish the trust that has been lost during the previous administration. The Paris Accord, which was the climate thing, the Iran nuclear deal, which is never gonna fucking happen. Remember when I said never gonna happen? So they've got these ridiculous demands. And actually, real quickly, I have what each of these positions does. The first one I spoke about, the press secretary, I forgot to mention him. Basically, her job is to speak for the president. What's the president going to do now? What does the president think of this? What happened to the president? She's the one that's doing all that because obviously the president can't be there all the fucking time. Secretary of the Treasury. Secretary of the Treasury acts as a principal advisor, this is Janet Yellen, to the president and the cabinet on economic issues. The United States Department of the Treasury, which the secretary oversees, performs many important functions, including paying the nation's bills, printing money, and collecting taxes. So print that money. Secretary of Defense, which was Lucas. The Secretary of Defense presides over the entire Department of Defense and functions as the principal defense policymaker and advisor, reporting directly to the President of the United States. And then the Secretary of State. There's actually a little bit of a list here. President serves as the president's principal advisor on U.S. foreign policy, conducts negotiations relating to the U.S. foreign affairs, advises the president on appointing of U.S. ambassadors, ministers, consuls, and other diplomatic representatives, negotiates, interprets, and terminates treaties and agreements, ensures the protection of U.S. government to American citizens, protection of the U.S. government to American citizens' property and interests in foreign countries, supervises administration of U.S. immigration laws, informs the Congress and American citizens of the conduct of U.S. foreign relations. So it's a pretty long list of what they do. And then we got 2 more here. One of them is kind of an interesting one because it's brand new. But real quick, the Director of National Intelligence, which is Avril Haines, their job is a new one that was created after 9/11, and that's basically her job is to make sure all the information FBI, CIA, gets coordinated. So one of the biggest issues, the FBI wasn't talking to the CIA, wasn't talking to these other deals, other entities, and that's one of the reasons they said that 9/11 was able to happen. So Avril Haines is Avrilhaines, and this is from the Baltimore Sun. Among those, President-elect Joe Biden has named to serve in his administration is a woman who once owned a book cafe in Baltimore's Fells Point. Biden said Monday he intends to nominate Avril Haines as Director of National Intelligence. If confirmed, Haines will be the first woman to serve in the role. There's another one. Haines also was the first woman to be Deputy Director of the CIA and served as former President Barack Obama's Principal Deputy National Security Advisor. I picked a professional, Biden said on Tuesday, a fierce advocate for telling the truth and leaving it with decision makers. I know because I've worked with her for over a decade. Brilliant, humble, can talk literature and theoretical physics, fixing cars, flying planes, and running a bookstore cafe all in a single conversation because she's done all that. The position was created after 9/11 attacks, blah, 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 said all that. So, and then the last one, this is a brand new position just created by Biden, special presidential envoy for climate. Anyone know? John Kerry, you guys are familiar with him. This marks the first time that the NSC, National Security Council, will include an official dedicated to climate change, reflecting the president-elect's commitment to addressing climate change as an urgent national security issue. The U.S. Senator Tom Sharper said it's going to be, and this is a Democrat, obviously, it is going to take a concentrated international effort to confront and overcome the global climate crisis. But before we even get there, it's going to take perseverance, political expertise, and diplomacy to convince other countries to join the fight to save our planet. No one understands this more than John Kerry. So that's pretty much it. That's what we got. So, any last minute thoughts before we wrap this one up? No? All right. So, it's the first time we're splitting it up. I feel like it went pretty well. This is Seth and Mike 1, Laz and Mike 2, Lucas and Mike 3.
Hey.
Got Alex and Mike 4. And we'll see you guys in a few days. Boom. Because we said so.
Don't try it. It isn't that hard to tell. There's nothing to gain. Don't try it. It doesn't matter what you believe. We run this game. Don't try it. Don't try it. It isn't that hard to tell. You have a better chance of overthrowing hell. Nothing to gain. Don't try it. Don't try it. It doesn't matter what you believe. Our little prowess will not receive. We run this game. Don't try it. Don't try it. It isn't that hard to tell. You have a better chance of overthrowing hell. Nothing to gain.